You too. What's up? This is Elton with Red Bottom. Hey, I know I haven't posted in a while, but yeah, it's a struggle for me. I'm too busy with work and everything else, and doing things with the bike and preparing stuff for this year, 2026. Happy New Year's to everybody. I want to do a quick video on DIY project. If you wanna do your own DIY stage 2 on your Harley Davidson M8 2024 newer. That's what I'm doing it on. I mean, M8 came out in 2017, 18. I'm just talking about 24. I got a 24 CVO Road Glide ST. That's what I'm doing my cam on. So this is a special tool you're gonna need if you're doing any kind of stage 2 cam upgrade, bolt-on cam upgrade on your bike. And I'm gonna talk about I'm gonna talk a little bit about every tool you're gonna need. And then what it comes down to really is what you're trying to do with the bike. Do you need lifters? Do you need adjustable push rods? Can you use you're saying dropping Harley push rods? If you're gonna take the top off, you're gonna take the bottom down. If you're gonna, what are you building it for? You building it for sport touring, or you building it for wheelie? You building it for racing? You building it for long travel? What kind of cam you want? How aggressive you want the cam? Stuff like that. I'm building it for that. That's the reason I'm doing a cam too for my aggressive riding style, but I still want to provide any new guy that want to do it for himself because they don't want to pay that exorbitant price. Exuberant. When I say exuberant, I'm talking about I'm in a dealership out here where I'm at is $155 an hour. $155 an hour to do anything. I had saved myself a lot of money this year doing some of the stuff myself, like risers for the handlebars, clutch adjustments, tires, lights, seats, battery. If you take it to the dealership, for one, you'll spend half your summer in the dealership. And you paying all the money. So I have taken the money, just save the money and things like that. So the way I do it is, anytime I want to go put some on the bike, I go see how much it costs for the dealership to do it, and I just save that money. That's how I sell it to them. That's how I sell it. Anyway, yeah. So without further ado, I'm gonna illustrate what tools you need for a stage 2 DIY on your M8 motor, 2024 newer M8 motors. Peace. Okay, as I was saying, so the first thing I'm gonna show you is this right here is a thread cleaner. This is a standard thread cleaner. You get this from Amazon. It's like $15. Right? You run your screws in here to clean all the stock or whoever did the last thread lock. You want your screws clean. You want everything clean. You want your screws clean. You want all the junk off of all your screws. So this is one thing you get. Boom, right? You're gonna put that here at the end. The next thing you get is an All Faithful, right? It's an oil can. What do you need an oil can for? This oil can is gonna help you from fueling. Like 20 something. This oil can is gonna help you pump up your lifters. Okay? You know what? Since I'm using that, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out too. But I'm just gonna use the can right there, just to pump up the lifter. You squeeze it on the side of the lifter, and you squeeze it on the top of the lifter, and you should be full. Gyms too, they even sell this little widget right here, where you can stick the lifters in here, and with a vacuum, you suck up the air out of the jar with the lifters in there, and it provide all the bubbles, all the air come out the lifters. I don't have the vacuum. I don't feel like spending for the vacuum for one-time use. If later on I get to doing more cam for other people and I start charging like $400 a cam, then I probably invest in something like that. But a lot of professionals back in the day, current, just use this. You fill this with oil, with synthetic Sin 3 oil from Harley or whatever, and you just pump up your lifters, and that's all you do. See what I'm saying? So that's that. or you can use this handy dandy little tool right here. Okay, so that's tool number, we're gonna call this 1, 2, so that's tool number 2. Tool number 3, you're gonna need straight edges, right? Or anything that's a straight edge. I bought 2 out of Amazon for like $18 or so. You're gonna need the straight edges for the cavitation of the sprockets once you put it all back together. A straight edge, you put it between the gears of the teeth of the sprocket, the cam sprocket and the camshaft sprocket, and you check and see if you within tolerance. 9,000 of a tolerance is good, but anything below that is great, right? 9,000 is good. It's tolerable. It passed the tolerance. Anything above that, you might want to go to a gear setup if you're using an older model, whatever. But on my bike, hopefully, I'm using a stock spacer that comes with the bike. I think it's the 1/10, or you go from there 120, 130, whatever. But you're gonna need a straight edge for that. I don't know why I bought 2. I think they came in pairs, so I got 2. Boom. So that's 2, 3. 2, 4. This is a cleaning wheel. You want to make sure that all your surfaces are clean. This is like a plastic. It's like a hard plastic. You should put this in a drill, right? You just put this in a drill, and boom, use that to clean the surface of the cam chest plate, the cam cover, the top of the blocks. You want to get that gasket up out of that. You don't want to torque that down and you have that gasket on the bottom and creating a space, creating gaps, and it cause a leak. So you want something to clean that up with. This probably gonna last me probably like 8 bikes. If I even start doing the bikes, I might just be my bike only. So this is 2, 4, right? Or 4, 2. Tool 5. You're gonna need assembly lube. That's all it is. Anything that you put on that bike, from the cam to the cam bearing, what else? Cam bearing, cam, the oil pump. If you swapping out oil pumps, whatever, if you're using the same one, whatever. When you put it back, you want to put it back with assembly lube. All right, so that's 2, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. Filler gauges, right? You're gonna need filler gauges. The reason why you need filler gauges, right? You need 2/1000ths of an inch, right? 2,000. This is to make sure you set the, where's 2,000s at? Make sure you set the top cuff guide. Man, did I buy the wrong gauges? Oh no, here it is. Here it is. You gotta make sure you use, so that's why you buy 2, because you gotta put them in 2 places, right? That's when you torquing that 3/8 bolt right on the top guide bolt screw. You gotta put this in between, because if you don't do that, if you assemble it and you trying to adjust the push rod, and you see that the lifters are not, pushing in and out with the intake and exhaust, and the intake, that's because that lifter is hitting the top of guide. And once you're hitting the top of guide, the harder ones is plastic. If you start going, I'm gonna do a video on what you need. I'm gonna do another video on what you need for a stage 2 cam. And I'm gonna tell you everything you need. Because I'm gonna do on my 2024 CVO ST Road Glide. 2024 CVO ST Road Glide ST. That's what I meant to say. So you need that measurement. You got to make sure you put this on the torque, on the tightening side, one on the flat side, on one side of on the lifter and the one on the other side of the lifter. So you make sure, and then when you rotate the wheel, and if you rotate the wheel, you'll be able to tell if there's any bond in there. But if it's off like 4,000s, like 3,000, because the spec is 2,000 of an inch. So if it's off 3,000, that guide is not coming up. And then it's gonna be like, well, how in the world is this cam not pushing this lifter so it can push the push rod and then the pusher open the valves and blah, 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 because you didn't set the gap. Okay, so you're gonna need this. This is paramount. So this is 6, all right? Now 7, this right here, this little handy dandy tool right here is for, you buy this on Amazon, right? You buy this on Amazon. It's for, you install it between the camshaft and the crankshaft. It's a block, so you can take the nuts off. I mean the screws on both sides, top and bottom. The camshaft, crankshaft. You put this in between those two with the timing chain with it, boom, and you loosen up the screws. So you need that. I've seen guys not use it. They'll leave the cam tensioner, belt and tensioner in there, and have the tire on the ground, and you can do it, because it's not that much. It's like 34 to 24 foot-pounds of pressure on those screws. So you need that. Then, this is paramount, right? This from fueling. This is your runoff gauge. Why you need the runout gauge? Right, this is the runout gauge. You get that from fueling. The reason you need the runout gauge is you gotta know if your crankshaft is in tolerance for that cam or that oil pump. Well, not the cam, the oil pump. And if it's even worth doing the cam, you might need to take that damn crankshaft, split that damn case and get a damn new crankshaft, right? So my bike, Harley sells my bike at the tolerance of my oil pump and cam plate on my cam is 13,000 of an inch, 13,000, right? So that's a big swing of the bat, right? This a tool to tell you that. So you want to know that before you even put a cam in. You want to know if you even change oil pump. Because let's say you go with a fueling oil pump. With the fueling oil pump, I think the tolerance is I think it's less than 5,000. So if you got a crankshaft that's 9,000, you off. You can't even use that oil pump. The tolerance is too tight, right? So you don't want to use that. So you want to know what that number is. As soon as you take all that stuff apart, you want to know what that number is, because if it don't make sense, if it don't make sense, it just don't make sense of doing it. You have to either split the case, get a Man of War crankshaft zero that's gonna stay at zero thou, or use the same fuel pump, or use a Screaming Eagle oil pump, because Screaming Eagle oil pump is rated all over to 13,000. So, and then Harley cranks. You could have a crank that's 1, 3, 9, 6. They're all over the damn place. It's not like they are one story sets it all, right? So you're gonna want to know that runoff. So fueling sends you that. You buy that through fueling, the gauge is inside the box, blah blah blah, and boom. That's what you need for the runout. You got to know your runout, right? So that's the runout. Boom. So how many tools is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tools. The 9 tool is this is Jim's, right? Jim, this is the, what do they call it? They call it a inner cam bearing removal and installer for the inner cam, right? Here goes the screw, right? Here goes the block. When you read in the install remove, that's the holes you use, all the widgets, the bolts. You hook it up to your bike. This is the cam installer. And that's it. All right? This is what you use to remove the interfering of your bike. That's 9, right? Now, 10. This is to remove the collar of the push rod on top of on the bottom of the head. Do you need this? No, people should use screwdrivers, whatever the case may be. Just be careful on your paint. I went ahead and bought it. This to separate the top of the push rod collar, to pop it out. So you can push the collar up into the head so you can cut the push rods, right? This little, got it from eBay, it was like $14 or so. Then I also bought, you don't need this tool, this is an organizer, right? It's a GEMS organizer. It just gives you where, you know, you can put all the screws from the cam cover, the block cover. You could put the doggone, this is the design of the plastic Harley ones for the lifter guides. And then this for the oil pump and cam plate, right? You don't have to buy this. I went and bought it. You don't have to buy that. I bought the whole set for the transmission, the engine, all this other jazz, like $300-something. That by itself is like $100, but I couldn't find it. They had there we go. Boom. You could use that. Right, you can use that. And then last but not least, this is a magnetic induction heater. Got this from Amazon, right? Magnetic induction heater. Right? What do you need this guy for? Glad you asked. This guy is needed for, in the event when you are working, when you are taking this screw out right here. This is the guy, the type of cover guy. When you're taking this screw, it's a 3/8 screw. When you're taking this guy out, when you stop going left and you stop and it doesn't loosen, as though something get loose, and you feel like it's got a lot of resistance to it, stop. What you don't want to do, you do not want to break this head of this bolt inside this case. You do not want to do that. So if you start going with a 3/8 ratchet slowly or a wrench slowly, and you feel like he's not giving, stop what you're doing. Get your induction heater. Touch that joker. Make him get a little warm, or even hot. I want to get him too hot. I don't want him to swell in there. But get him agitated. That when you start pulling it back, it starts loosening, and then once it gets loose, you take it out. You do not want to break this screw open your damn case. I've heard mechanic shop talk about this, and then they call the customer, and then they come out with a different widget to put on top of it to compensate for that. I don't want to hear none of that. If I take it to the shop, you could send it off to get it fixed. I don't care. You did that. You should have known better. So these 2 screws can ruin your day if you don't doggone plan ahead. That's what this induction heater is for. I got it from Amazon. It was like $100-something. You stick this jokers in here. You turn the joker on. Boop. And you heat that bolt so you can take it out, so no problem, okay? And then, so how many tools is that? So I went down the tools. So let's count up the tools again. So let's count. So you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? But really you only need, let me take away this. I'm gonna take away 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna take away 3 out of the 12 that you don't need, but it's nice to have. You don't need the induction heater, but you gotta be careful with that screw. You don't need this, but you can use a screwdriver. And you don't need the organizer. But the rest of the tools, the 9 other tools, you're gonna need for this job. All right? So with that being said, this is Elton with Red Bottom. I'm out.